Hi, it's Jackleen. Happy Leo new moon. I'm recording this on Wednesday, the day before the Leo new moon. The moon is currently in Cancer, and if you're seeing this early, we still have a few more hours of a lucky day, which ends when the void moon happens. The void moon in Cancer at 5:42, I believe. But most of you will probably just be seeing this on Thursday, the day of the new moon. And I want to say I'm pretty optimistic about this new moon, as I usually am about the new moons. Okay. Um, Full disclosure here, I have sort of been a romanticist of new moons, and I think they offer a really good opportunity for change and turning over a new leaf, fresh starts, that sort of thing. So, yay for new moons. I'm going to talk a little bit about this one, why it's great, why maybe there are some little obstacles. First of the obstacles being that we are currently in a Mercury retrograde, and there are good and bad times within the Mercury retrograde. So if you're not on my Patreon channel where I can tell you like even by the hour what times are good, know when at least there's a void of course moon and avoid. Avoid means avoid. So avoid doing things because you've got the double whammy of the void of course moon and the Mercury retrograde. So the moon today, Wednesday, where as I'm recording this, is nicely in Cancer, very well harmoniously aspected. So it's a good time in spite of the Mercury retrograde up until 5:42 p.m. when it goes void, of course. Then we have tomorrow the new moon in Leo. So a Leo new moon is wonderful. It's a new beginning. The sun is in its dignity in Leo. That's where it's supposed to be, right? And the moon, also in Leo, cozied up. So we love the new moon because the sun and moon are in agreement. The head and heart are in agreement. That's at 2 degrees Leo. And the Sabian symbol for this, I had to laugh because all but one of these aspects sounds just exactly like me right now. It's a middle-aged woman with long flowing hair, but going braless. And I'm like, no, not that part. You know, for a moment there during the pandemic, I thought bras were going to be over, but no, they weren't. So, alas, that is not the case here. But it basically is about society's conception of, you know, our romanticizing of youth and a middle-aged woman saying, I'm going to give you the finger and just be who I am, whatever that is. So I'm all for that, right? So that's just being yourself in spite of what the world is saying right now. And the world is saying a lot of crazy stuff, right? We are in interesting times, and I don't have to tell you that. And the chart of this new moon bears it up. One of the things that's happening during this new moon, while it's always more harmonious, it always brings a little bit of a relief, particularly to a Mercury retrograde, so you can breathe a little bit easier. But there will still be conflicts at work, at any wherever power is fought for, which is basically every arena, right? There will be power struggles because we have Pluto, that planet of power and transformation, opposite the sun and moon. Okay, the sun moon conjunction. And so we do have that jockeying for power at work, at home, everywhere in the world, right? So we're going to see more and more of that. Big surprise, right? Then we've got Mars and Venus in not so great aspect. I'm getting the bad news out of the way first, or let's just put it this way, more interesting and challenging news out of the way, and then we can talk about what's going to be good and fun about this. But Mars and Venus are in a little bit of a difficult aspect in mutable signs. Mars in Virgo and Venus in Gemini. So Mercury, it's a war of ideas basically between the male and female, or the relationship planets. So whether male or female, passive and more aggressive, whatever you want to call it. I shouldn't say passive, receptive and aggressive. So you'll see that power balance shift. And it's a good time not to get into a war of words with your partner, because also Mercury retrograde, right? We don't want that. So we've got aside from that, we've got pretty much good stuff. Mars is, you know, if I had to look at, okay, is there a troublemaker in the chart of this new moon? It's a toss-up. I would say that award goes to Mars, because Pluto is actually making really good aspects to the outer planets right now. We've been talking about that, and when throwing Saturn in with those outer planets, sometimes it's a personal planet, sometimes it's an outer planet, or you know, a larger, heavier hitter, having to do with the time that we're in. But everything's in harmony with Pluto except for that sun moon conjunction, and that'll shift. But it's the chart of the new moon is just kind of like that dream catcher, that snapshot of the moment that continues over the next month and especially the next 2 weeks. So we're going to see those power struggles. We're going to see, we're going to see big power structures shifting, dissolving. Mercury retrograde started so interestingly with the Coldplay Kiss Cam and all that stuff. That's the kind of stuff, it's disclosure events. We're going to see more disclosure events, by the way, especially heading into next month when we have eclipses. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to talk about this new moon and how it's going to be for most of us, and most of the time a little bit respite in the Mercury retrograde storm and a little bit of relief, right? And the opportunity to start new things, but do them at harmonious times. Again, while the moon is not void, of course, and you're feeling good, you're centered. Very, very important, because we have Saturn and Neptune close together. I talked about this with Jill on the podcast, and also my last full moon video, that we have that little conjunction there. And what it's wanting is to kind of have us doubt ourselves, particularly our intuition. Don't get centered. Know that you will probably be the not crazy one, the one in your workplace. You're going to be the one, because your boss probably isn't watching this. I don't know if they're not, maybe forward it to them. I don't know if they're open to such things, but your coworkers might not be watching this, or might not be watching something that says, hey, everyone's going to be a little bit chicken with the head cut off right now. Okay. Because that's Mercury retrograde. We've got that Pluto opposition, power struggles. Whoever you struggle with for power, they're going to struggle a little bit more, and you're going to struggle a little bit more if you don't chill. Okay, realize it's probably not going to be the end of the world. Probably got to put that little caveat there, because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, a lot of warring stuff. We have all our big planets newly in new signs. I talked about this around the full moon, right? So new ideas are happening, and some of them are great, some of them not so great. So, okay. But you'll have a lot of good ideas during this time. Mercury retrograde is famous for having fabulous, great ideas. Just like, if you think about being drunk, right? And you have this great idea, and then you write it down, or you think about it later, and you're like, no, it wasn't that great. So you're probably going to get that ratio of, was it a good idea, or was it Mercury retrograde? Was I kind of punch drunk on the moment, or was that really a channeled good idea? Write everything down. If crazy, world-shattering, wonderful ideas occur to you, please write them down, because they're going to be very fleeting as well. There's lots of butterflies flying in and out of the mind space here. Uranus newly in Gemini, which is all about ideas, right? So there's going to be great ideas flown around. Just make sure you have your butterfly net to catch some of those. And yeah, some of them will be like, nope, bye-bye. Gonna just set that one free. But after the Mercury retrograde, you can go back. And by the way, the Mercury retrograde goes until August 11th. But let's give it another week to get back up to speed. And then you can look at your ideas and say, okay, was that really a revolutionary? Again, Uranus, Gemini, revolutionary. Pluto chiming in Aquarius. Everything is revolutionary right now. There's a lot of uprising, and I would suggest to be part of that in some way, whatever way most appeals to you, right? How do you want to make a change in the world? This is a good time to get in with people that are doing things that really speak to you, to combine your power with others, because that is also that Aquarian Pluto energy. The US has an Aquarian moon. I spoke to that when I spoke with Jill last time. And so this is this time of uprising. This is a time, how do we want this country to be? How do we want our local communities to be? Step into that discussion is what I would say. And if you're a writer, really good time to just be jotting things down, not trying to edit them as they come out. Just do that later. All the P's and Q's, all the refinement, all the detail work. Do that later. Just kind of get down what comes out. Some of it's going to be worth something. Some of it may not, right? So actually very good time. What else did I want to say? Yes, Mars is problematic with Venus. So that can be interpersonal relationships, romantic partnerships, business partnerships as well. But any kind of partnership, there will probably be a little bit of testing power. Make sure that, I don't like people signing things during the Mercury retrograde. I know you have to, but run it through your lawyer if you are signing anything. make sure that you've thoroughly checked it, all that. But yes, Mars is also on the opposition or right next to the South Node, and the South Node is the old karma and the old habit and the thing you probably shouldn't be doing, and the North Node is that purpose. So and they're always, the North and South Node are always directly opposed to each other, right? And so Mars is getting into that conversation. It says, be very deliberate in what you do right now. If you're going to eat some potato chips for breakfast, you can, as you go to the potato chips, I'm deliberately eating potato chips for breakfast. Okay, so just be deliberate about it, even if it's something that you maybe don't want to continue forever, or it's something that is not really within the values that you're setting for yourself, right? Make sure you know that's what you're doing rather than letting it get in under the radar. So giving attention to what you're doing and where your actions are taking yourself, or we're taking you. So this would be a great time to have a self-evaluation period at the end of the day. Here's what I said I was going to do today. Here's what I actually achieved. What did I resist? That's one of the things I talk about with my coaching clients. What did I resist during this time? Because it will be one of those times where a lot of stuff is going to try to get in under the radar. You want to be as conscious as possible. You want to be in the moment as possible. I know that goes without saying most of the time. My Mercury retrograde rules of thumb are: be flexible, be willing to pivot. Opportunity may come disguised as inconvenience, frustration, whatever else you want to call it, right? So allow that it could be opportunity. I read something the other day, one of my friends posted, and I think I posted some of it on Patreon, but it was basically, rather than why is this happening to me, what is this trying to teach me right now, would be your best reaction to any kind of sudden happenings or delays. We're going to have a lot of that. Budget more time, budget more money, be flexible, have a sense of humor. Those are my Mercury retrograde guidelines. But overall, the outer planets are working together. We're getting new ideas. We're seeing new solutions. You may get some of that at work. You may find yourself chiming in where you didn't chime in before. So stretching, expanding the comfort zone, that can all be very helpful. We're coming up on a series of eclipses where there's going to be lots of disclosure, lots of, it's almost kind of like whatever you're doing right now, act as if that camera, that big Jumbotron camera, was on it, right? And that it's going to be seen at some time in the future. Not that all of it will, of course, but just to really be true to yourself, be true to what you say you want to do at this time, and be very strong in your intentions. Put out your intentions. This is a good time. I always say the new moon, particularly if it's the new moon closest to your birthday, is a good time to reconnect with what your grand vision is and what you would like to accomplish. If it's your birthday, within the year. If it's not your birthday, maybe just within the month. But as that ties to your larger grand vision and the grand vision for the world that you want to live in. So I probably will have more to say about this. That just came out as I'm looking at these aspects, and they all look pretty good. But beware of Pluto. Pluto wants to transform you. So keep your back up a little bit in your reactions. That's what I would say. If you can be less reactive right now, all the better, right? Okay, well, happy new moon in Leo. Happy birthday to people that have Leo affiliations. I know you like to be recognized for that. Leo sun or moon. It's just a really good time for you now. Any fire, but basically it's a good time for all of us. So band together, be with people that you feel a commonality with, your kindred spirits, and happy new moon. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.